Dear Journal, how many times can one person hear the phrase, work smarter, not harder, until it finally sinks in? This is my way of batching content as a full-time artist and creative entrepreneur. I feel like I have finally figured out how to double up, triple up, better yet, I have one task that's going to create 8 pieces of content, all while being in the studio and doing the things that I love the most. This is my weekly vlog, and I'm taking you on this journey with me. So, I'm painting this for Matt's stepmom because she's had it forever and she loves it. And she told her a long time ago I would paint it to match her new decor. And so I am putting a base coat of DIY, and I'm using Hey Sailor and my Paint Pixie brush here. I'm just putting a base coat. And DIY will stick to just about anything, so I don't have to use any kind of primer or anything. It's what I've been using on my furniture for many, many years, and everything else that I can get my hands on. So we're just putting a base coat. I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'm gonna come back and start building it. My goal is to make it kind of look like a marble stone piece. So I'm getting this base coat on there, and I'll start building up various shades of blue. It's a really pretty piece, and we'll probably highlight it with some wax. Lots of nooks and crannies to shove all the bristles down into. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I told her I'd do this a couple of years ago. Scoop.
Do you ever want to be a cartoon character?
Cartoon character?
Like, did you watch cartoons when you were little?
I really didn't. My brother kind of dominated the television. We only had the one, and he watched sports. And I really don't remember watching cartoons. Maybe, no, there was a time when I went to, when I was like, was it weekends at my dad's. He put a TV in my bedroom as I got a little older, and that was about the time that the Saturday morning show that like Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears and stuff were on when that first started. Was it the Mickey Mouse Club? I think it was something like that.
Did you have Mickey Mouse ears?
Those weren't really cartoon.
Were you part of that group? The Mickey Mouse Club?
I wasn't that young.
Oh, I don't know.
I wasn't that young. They were just like teenagers singing and dancing, and I don't remember seeing any. I don't remember had seen something like that, where they played games and they did different things. That was really kind of fun to watch. But that was only every other Saturday for a brief time.
What was
I'd
that?
already been watching Pinnacle.
What are you putting in there?
That's the berberine. Yeah, berberine. It's a natural something that helps with blood glucose support and digestion. Yeah. And then this is green tea. This is going to give me all my energy. 3 hours to get all the things done on the checklist. And then meetings before dinner.
That's not bad.
Not bad, not bad.
Not a bad day.
No, we're going to work on magazine stuff. Getting prepped for tomorrow so we can have a big day full of content creation. Trying to batch my content instead of spreading it all out in content days. Trying to batch it into just 2 days per month. And with your help, I think we're going to knock out a ton of stuff tomorrow.
We'll see. Maybe.
This gives me fuel to work.
All right.
Cheers.
See ya.
Kiss.
Wait.
This is a simple way any artist can use canvas for a backdrop, whether you're doing this for product shots or flat lay images like we're going to be doing in this video. I am building up shades of green. So these flat lays are going to be a part of my upcoming spring volume of the Turquoise Iris Journal magazine. And so I've grabbed my favorite paint, DIY paint, which is a clay base, and I've cut this canvas off of its frame, crunched it up and stomped on it and sanded it. And then I am continuing to build up the clay base paint. Now this is going to serve as a backdrop. Like I said, we're going to create 8 pieces of content by doing one beautiful flat lay in photography, for a blog post, for reels. Oh, the list just goes on and on.
Okay, so this turned out really good. While I was on some calls yesterday, Matt took it out to the garage, crinkled it up like this once it dried, and then stomped on it a little bit, and then he sanded it. So all of those high points that were on the painting before are really showing, okay? And so I wanted various shades of green so I can use this as my backdrop on some flat lays for the magazine. And since we're working on the spring and doing all things green, I think this is so good. Now, look, I also put black wax up here. So that's why it's darker in areas, and I used like 4 shades of DIY, and because it's like the clay, it has like this rawness to it, and not using the clear wax to buff it or anything like that. But I love how it turned out. Way to sand, Mr. Woods. I love it.
Okay, so before we start with the green flat lay spread for the Turquoise Iris Journal, I am gathering all of my blue and white china. Why? Because there's going to be a really special feature all about the rhythm of patterns. So I'm pulling one of my favorite patterns, which is blue and white classic color combo, and I'm going to do a flat lay. I'm going to be building the plates from the largest and working in. So I've blocked out an entire day on my calendar for content creation.
Okay, this is the last of them. I know we don't need to use all of them, but I want to be able to see like all the different patterns and kind of layer them and think about kind of the composition of like the really busy pattern one next to a less than busy pattern. So I'm going to take this backdrop and just lay it out. The light is out. It's sunny.
I have made a commitment to myself this year to block out 2 content days per month. So I'm not always thinking about creating content, but I'm always thinking about what I'm going to need for those 2 days that I have blocked out. So far, January, so good.
Some of them will be more closed, some will be more stacked. We'll do off center, and then we'll do like the full wall looking view. So if my designer just chooses to use a full view, you know, not close, maybe in a whole spread, then the main goal is I give her way more options than she needs, so she can choose what fits. So I've got some humps here from the rugs, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. So now that I have this out, I really need to look at the plates, and I need to decide like what's going to be the center, and then build my way out with thinking about smaller patterns with the larger patterns next to it, and then just keeping it going. And then I'll bring in the smaller plates and do some layers. And I don't know, I haven't really photographed plates before, so this is new, but I'm excited about all the different patterns.
So as I'm laying out these plates, The most obvious thing that I'm doing is creating a really great engaging photo for the magazine. But what I am also going to be doing is creating images for a blog post about how to lay out plates. Let's say you wanted to hang plates on a wall. And so now I have the images that will support a blog on how to lay out plates, talking about composition, talking about the sizing, the different sizes of patterns, the large versus the small. I could also use this for a staging and photography course. So just these few photos are going to give me 3 different pieces of content to use. Yes, I'm an artist, so I'll use them next for inspiration in maybe an upcoming series on blue and white.
I'm first going to take some overhead and do wide shots, and then I'm going to get down and do some closer shots. And I may move the sections of plates around because I want things to look completely different, and I want to give her way more than she actually needs. I'm taking this in, not in portrait mode yet. I'm going to do a few, just overhead, go in as close as I can and get as many circles, many plates, combinations as I can. Now, there's a little bit of a glare on top of these because it's noon and it's sunny, and even though the glare is not coming in, I'm also, sorry, had another thought. I'm going to do landscape and vertical for her. Just, again, to give her more options. And I feel super silly right now, but
So what are we doing now?
oh gosh, it's time to photograph the greens. So I have just been like, I've got this fabric of mine and it's got a lot of green in it. So aside from the one we made, I'm actually going to also use this one and do it as a backdrop too. But I've got my art supplies that all have greens, all the different things. And look, honey, the brush you made me. Look, the bristles have just been tinted green over the years. So I'm going to see if I can incorporate that. I have books, jars, jewelry. One of my favorite bookends I bought like 20 years ago. Don't mind the dust. Isn't that gorgeous? It's an antique bookend, and I'm just looking for green. I also went ahead and bought some plants at Sprouts so I could cut off the stems and use those for like the variegated leaves. So I'm literally going through my house, pulling open drawers. I'm going to go through my my books, my journals, and see if I have any painted pieces that are mostly green, and then just pull all of that together and then start preparing for some flatlays, which I think are going to make a really big punch in the spring volume of the magazine.
Yeah, this is for the magazine, right?
Magazine! Shoot!
Okay.
Shoot!
Okay.
Get!
On to the next project. Now, the sun has moved just a little bit, so I'm going to have to position the photography setup in a little bit different spot. But I'm so glad that the sun is coming into the studio. I'm thinking about all the possibilities. So I have gone through my entire house, cabinets, drawers, jewelry box, even my closet, and grabbed anything that I think would lay down and create a really engaging flat lay. I want my viewers to want to reach through the screen or reach through the magazine and pick up one of these pieces. I'm considering things that are opposites. I'm considering things in every shade of green. I'm also going through some of my favorite books and looking at their patterns and looking at their flat lays. One of my favorite books is Jungalow. If you haven't seen it, you ought to take a look. So we picked up some flowers just from the neighborhood grocery store. I loved these leaves because of the variegation in the petals. They've got this beautiful chartreuse with this deep evergreen color. It's playtime. Absolutely playtime. I am going to take these images and I'm going to create 8 pieces of content. Social media posts, blog posts, reels, YouTube shorts. I'll use these for email marketing. I'll use this inside my magazine. I can use these images on my website as graphics. I can use them on a sales page for an upcoming workshop. I can use these on a sales page for an upcoming retreat. I can make Pinterest pins. I could go on all the ways to use these images.
Okay, so I wanted to have 3 solid flatlays. So this is my second one, and just to give you guys some insight as to why I laid this here and why I put that over there and moved that here. So the first thing I started with were the light spots, kind of the highlights. So the book carries a lot of white and the painting has a white sky. So I put eucalyptus, don't need those. I put those in opposite sides. So one at the top right, one here at the bottom left. So that is going to be something that grounds the flatlay. Then I'm thinking about texture. So I have 2 palm leaves. One is a very skinny, and then the other is more of the blah, blah, blah. I don't remember what the name is of that palm leaf. So I put those on the opposite sides. So that's giving me a solid base. Then I'm thinking about what's shiny, what is more textured and matte finish, and making sure that I stay opposite. So we've got 2 green bases and they're opposite, and they actually reflect light, right? Because they're made out of glass. Then I'm laying down some vegetation, which, some flowers. I wanted to incorporate art, and I could not find any of my paintings or any of my journal entries where anything had just all art, or all green, because there's flowers on everything. So I took this particular watercolor, which it was kind of a mess up, and I tore off the green stems, shredded it, whatever, and made sure the edges were all torn, and then I strategically placed it on opposite sides of where the other piece is. And you might have seen me place this one, and it just was too much purple. I was like, there's too much purple. So I took my soft pastels and I just scribbled over it and made it more green. I think overall that's not as important as the overall aesthetic. So I also filled some of these little vials of China paint in here. I grabbed some pieces of jewelry, and then I poured some pigment powder out onto this piece. So I would also have that texture that makes people go, what is that? A couple of my necklaces, this one in particular is a green Asian jade pendant that I bought probably 25 years ago at a store I worked. And I've held on to that pendant just because I think it's beautiful. Another piece over here was a gift, and this was a gift, this coaster. So in styling, you want to make sure for the biggest impact that you create contrast, but when you're doing a monochromatic chromatic style, you have to add that contrast with texture. So I hope that that helps. I still have a third one that I want to do, and this time I'm going to bring in my fabric, lay across my corduroy jeans, bring in some more artwork.
So, artist and creative entrepreneur, I want you to use your own art. I want you to walk into your creative space. I want you to pull out the drawers and the cabinets, and I want you to grab some of your favorite things and create a collection. And then I want you to use these images. It's such an easy, free way to create content and sell your products and position yourself as the expert. Now, this is your art. Even laying out these tulips on a piece of my fabric with my artwork and flipping through my journals, there's an art to it, but you can't get it wrong. It's like with anything else. Just practice. Just move things. Play around. But remember, your art is not just a piece of art for sale. As beautiful as that is, there are other ways. When an artist comes to me and says, I just don't know what to post other than my art. There are so many details that we miss as buyers, as viewers of your work. Pull it all together. Put a camera up. The best investment I made was saving my old camera so I could have another angle. I could do time lapse. It has paid off 10 times. I want you to be encouraged because this is the way that you can save time in your studio and stop wasting it.
I enjoy doing photography, flat lays, and content creation just as much as I do creating the artwork. So I hope that these tips will inspire you and give you more courage as you come into the studio and really maximize your time when you do get a chance to paint.